garden, we are going to be painting cherry blossom trees today. Cherry blossom trees are super cool because they are trees that bloom with these very light pink flowers, and they only bloom for about 2 weeks, so it's really special if you're able to see them when they're blooming. I'm going to link another video that talks more about cherry blossom trees and the history behind them, but we are going to be making a painting of them. If you don't have paint at home, you can use markers, crayons, colored pencils, oil pastels, anything you have that can get color onto your paper. Let's get started. So the things you will need for this project are a piece of paper, some watercolor paints, and if you don't have paints, you can use markers, crayons, colored pencils, anything to get some color on your paper. We're going to start out, since I'm using watercolor paints, I'm going to start out by getting my brush wet and then picking up my paint color. And I'm going to start with the trunk of the tree, my cherry blossom tree. So I'm going to get some brown paint on my brush. And I'm just going to kind of have the tree come up from the bottom of my paper. So there is my tree trunk. Next, I'm going to add some branches, and the branches of cherry blossom trees are usually very long and kind of wavy, and we want to create some movement on our page. Movement is when your eye moves all across the artwork. So we want to make some wavy lines to make our eyes move all over the paper instead of just staying in one spot. Just kind of making little big lines for the big branches and then little lines off of that. More wavy lines, it might kind of feel like you're writing the letter S. It's kind of that similar shape or that similar line, like an S line. Just wavy lines with smaller wavy lines coming off of them. The more branches you have, the more places you're able to put your cherry blossom flowers. So think about that when you're painting your branches. If you want a lot of flowers, paint a lot of lines. If you don't want that many flowers, don't paint so many wavy lines, so many wavy branches. Alright, I think that is good for my painting. Now I'm going to wash my brush. And I'm actually going to switch to a smaller brush so I can paint my small cherry blossom flowers. Now cherry blossom flowers are pink. They might be a couple different colors of pink, so you can experiment with this here. I'm going to start with a light pink color. And you can start wherever you want. You'll be adding them to all of the branches. But when you make your flower, it might be easier to just kind of make it a bunch of swirly lines on top of each other. But if you want some more texture, or make it look like there's more petals, you can kind of make it more bumpy and go around and around until you fill that shape in. And if you look at flowers in real life, every single flower is different. So don't feel like yours have to look like mine. They're all going to be different. So if you have a different way of making flowers, go right ahead. But I'm just going to add these flowers to around all of my branches. Next, I'm going to go over my light pink flowers with just a few little dots of a darker pink, just to give the flowers a little bit more texture and to make them look more realistic. I'm going to add more of a ground over here, add some grass with my brush. So I cleaned off my brush after I was done with the flowers. And I'm going to get some green paint on my brush. And I'm just going to add lines that go kind of up and down, maybe crisscross a little bit, and go all the way across this one side. So I'm just doing short little lines. I can crisscross a little bit if you look at grass outside. The different blades of grass all overlap each other. And there's different layers. You can add grass in front of your tree if you want to, but I'm going to skip that and just continue on this side. Next, I'm going to add even more movement around my tree. I want it to look like these branches are kind of flowing and blowing in the wind. I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to get some blue paint on my brush. And I'm going to paint some swirly lines in the sky to show wind. So there we go. We have our cherry blossom tree that shows movement with the long wavy branches and then the swirly lines of wind that are blowing by the tree. Feel free to add other things to your painting. You could add animals in the tree, or you could add some different things in the background. I can't wait to see what everyone makes.